who play football, hockey, and lacrosse could face a lifetime of health consequences. And he says that it's child abuse if you let your kid play contact sports.
That seems like something you would say back in the in-your-face days.
I don't even think I would have gone that far, but I probably did. So in a world of parallels, we have a young lady on the phone right now who is 12 years old. Her name is Izzy.
She's a big deal. This is exciting.
She is. She's gone viral, and it is because, John, you know her backstory a lot better than I do.
Yeah, so Izzy, a lot of people probably saw her for the first time in the WWE. She was a super fan of sorts. She was part of NXT storyline with Bayley and Sasha Banks. She got a lot of TV time. Everybody kind of knew who she was. And then a local wrestling group, Punk Pro Wrestling. I don't know if she's doing anything with any other organizations, but she's been working with them, making appearances there. And then this past Sunday, she actually got in the ring, took a choke slam from a male wrestler, and actually was in a match and won a title in Punk Pro Wrestling locally, which has caused a lot of wrestlers to come out against her.
Wait, Bayley won a title? Izzy won a title already?
Izzy won a title on Sunday,
Jeez.
yes. So it is a lot of people. They're showing the video right now on Bone TV. A lot of people have come out and against what's going on, saying it's not right. But Izzy, from what I understand, she's training to be a professional wrestler. It's what she wants to do with her future, and her and her dad are on the line with us.
My friend X-Pac tweeted about this and said, and I'll ask the dad, Cody, and his daughter, Izzy, what they think about my man Sean Waltman saying, no way a 12-year-old's brain should be subject to pro wrestling bumps, especially a choke slam. WTF is wrong with the adults in this situation. Cody, WTF is wrong with the adults in this situation.
Hey, Drew. Hey, Seth. Hey, John. And Izzy's with.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Izzy? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Oh, having a great day so far. Thank you very much for your time today. I do appreciate it very much.
Oh, I'm so stoked. I got my internet championship with me. So I'm so excited to be on the show.
Well, we're excited to have you. Cody, as her dad, when you hear wrestlers like X-Pac speak out and say, what the heck is wrong with the adults in this, because that's what the F and what WTF stands for is heck. What the heck is wrong with a dad who would let his daughter get choke slammed? How would you address that question?
I would address that with Izzy trained, prior to this match, Izzy trained for a year at the UFC gym. She had a boxing coach. She had a Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach. And then she was able to go to a school and be trained for months. And we knew this match was going to happen. And she had months of training with this and hours. It's not something that where hey, she just jumped in the ring and let's wrestle. She was trained. I understand the concern with it, and we definitely looked at that. However, wrestling is viewed as some sort of magical thing, and it's no different than any other contact sport. I understand you quoted that doctor.
Yeah.
And, we celebrate pro football every Sunday. High school Friday Night Lights is happening right now.
Sure.
And the same thing, these kids practice 4 or 5 times a week. They take anywhere from 10 to 15 hits. It's the exact same thing. Izzy's not on the road making towns and, getting a hot dog and a handshake, and making a living off of this. It was one match. She trained very, very hard for this. It's no different than if she was in karate, I would say. I don't understand why the backlash for a girl, and I think a lot of it has to do with this, because if it was a boy, it would be celebrated. We looked at a couple of weeks ago, there was a young man, he was 6 years old, and LeBron James commented on this boy who was playing tackle football, and he said, he's going to be a prodigy. And everybody's like, man, that's awesome. But a little girl who's trained and put in hours and hours of work gets the backlash. And the other part of it is a lot of wrestlers, Izzy isn't the only, it's awesome that they're painting Izzy as this pioneer of, 12-year-olds, but she's not the only one that's ever trained at 12 years old. There's countless wrestlers that did. And it's a shame when I see it, and I see probably the best tweet we got was from TJ Perkins, who's in WWE in 205. And he said, I'd be a hypocrite if I told you that this was wrong, just be safe.
Right.
And I thought that was the correct response. And as parents, we make sure she's safe. We knew that was going to happen.
Right.
She's worked with the wrestler Effie before, so we felt very comfortable. Leva Bates, who has years and years of experience, she was in the ring with Izzy. So we knew that this was going to happen. It's, wrestling's a contact sport, but it's also, things are gone over. It's not, if Izzy was in karate, nobody's telling him, hey, I'm going to throw a kick. Hey, I'm going to throw a punch. And that's just as dangerous, and that has the same risk and the same bump risk as wrestling. It just kind of feels like, well, everybody kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and everybody kind of just, okay, well, the internet said it's not cool, so I guess it's not cool.
I see where you're coming from, Cody. Izzy, have you received any kind of backlash from anyone on this? Has everyone been supportive? Anybody have any unkind words to say to you about getting choke slammed?
Definitely people were very concerned that I took a choke slam. And in the video, you could actually see that Effie's legs hit first and then he laid me down. But definitely I've been getting a lot of backlash. And also I've been getting some really awesome supportive tweets. So thank you to all those people who've been supporting me. And as my dad was saying, how there were so many people who trained at 13, 12 years old, someone that I looked up to so much is Ronda Rousey. And she started to train for MMA around my age.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And I know.
Go ahead.
And I know that Ronda Rousey isn't fighting grown men like I am right now. True, but in pro wrestling, there aren't too many kids training my age.
Yeah, it is a bit untraditional. Let me ask you this, and I'll ask this to you first, Cody. Now, obviously, you're in the ring with a professional. He knows to put himself down before. Accidents happen all the time, and I imagine that you would be consumed with guilt should something happen in the ring to your beautiful daughter, and you signed off on her doing something like this.
Absolutely, but it would be the same thing, when Izzy was training in MMA, and she's still continuing that at the UFC gym. It would be the same thing if, they were doing an armbar takedown and it snapped her elbow.
Yeah.
It would be the same thing, girls are playing football now, because I don't believe girls should be limited to just a specific sport. If I put her out there and she played football and she got a concussion, or if she was in gymnastics, she could break a leg. So, of course, the guilt as a parent, yeah.
Right.
But there's also to make sure that the preparation is there. We have a saying in our family, do it right or don't do it at all. And truly, I said, if you're going to do this, you're going to put in the hours at the gym, you're going to, and Izzy's passion is this, some people, their passion is dance, their passion is gymnastics, figure skating. We have friends that are in all those industries, karate. She chose pro wrestling. It's a little, for me, it's a little crazy as a dad.
Right.
But, this is what she chose. And we believe in, hey, setting her up for success. She goes to the gym. She eats a healthy diet. She's really dedicated herself to this, and especially this match. And it kind of, I understand where everybody came from with their concern, but it didn't come out as concern. It came more of, hey, I'm going to jump in on this bandwagon.
Right.
And, even though I train kids that are 13-year-olds, I'm going to bash this little girl. And it's almost like, that's really unfair. Is it really because, you really feel that way?
Right.
Or is it because, it's the cool thing to do?
I
And
see
it
where you're
kind of
coming
feels
from.
like it's the cool thing to do.
I
And
got
that's
you.
The tweets that I get is the cool thing to do.
We're on the phone with Cody right now. He is the father of Izzy, a 12-year-old aspiring pro wrestler who made the rounds on the internet this past weekend for going viral when she got choke slammed by an adult male in a wrestling
she won the
ring.
match.
She did win the match. Let the record reflect. John Senning, what do you have?
So I assume you have some sort of, even if it's a very minor relationship with the WWE, just from appearing on NXT and the things that you guys have been a part of. Have you heard from anybody with the WWE either for or against the fact that Izzy is already training and seemingly pursuing a career this young?
We have friends that have contacted us and said, hey, just be careful. But the majority of the people prior to this match were like, this is awesome. This is cool. This is amazing. You go, Izzy. Everybody had that answer. And then after the match, a lot of people were like, nobody really could say anything. And it was, sad to see how many people turned their back on Izzy. But the great thing is, Izzy got fired up and said, you know what, I really don't need these people to, wish me well. I appreciate their concern, but, I'm going to keep on chasing this dream.
I understand where you're coming from there. Seth Kushner, something for Cody and Izzy.
Cody and Izzy, throughout this process, what's the most hurtful thing that you've heard about yourself so far or your parenting? Because I'd assume that people attack your parenting as soon as they see this video.
Yeah, they a lot of people make I don't know the risks of pro wrestling. I don't know, the risks of it. It's sad when people are like, it's child abuse. We've heard some really awful things as far as you're horrible parents, you're pieces of garbage, and everything like that.
Goodness.
And it doesn't. To be honest, guys, it truly doesn't faze me.
Good.
We love our daughter. We know she's doing something extremely special. I couldn't be any prouder of Izzy with the dedication that she puts in and the sacrifice that she puts in and how many people she inspired. One of the coolest tweets I saw was from a kid that tweeted Izzy and said, hey, if Izzy can do promos, I want to do promos. Wow. And that's what it's truly about. I was more proud of what Izzy said after the match when she said, it doesn't matter who you are, who you love, or how old you are, wrestling is for everyone. I was more taken back by that because really the match was a statement.
Right.
So I don't let those people faze me. I know what type of parent I am. I adore my daughter. I would put her in any situation to make her successful. If she wanted to be a ballerina, she'd be going to the best dance schools and doing it right and everything. So yeah. As a dad, I'm proud, and her mom's not here to say it, but her mom would say it if she was here, not at work, saying that how proud we are of the girl she is.
Yeah. And like he said about what I said after the match, it kind of really sucked that no one really acknowledged that part because really it was a statement because it really doesn't matter who you are, who you love, and for me, how old you are, really wrestling's for everyone.
Well, not me, but yes, these guys like it a lot. Seth and John love it. And she is on Twitter, by the way, as It's Izzy Mania, ITSIZZY Mania. Hopefully people know how to spell that. As a dad, I have to say, Cody, we want to keep our kids safe, but at the same time, we want to encourage our kids to engage in pursuits that might put their health at risk. My son enjoys that parkour tumbling that people seem to love. Every time he does a backflip on a trampoline, he could land on the frame and break his stupid neck. Every time he does a backflip on the ground, I sit there and I clench my teeth going, man, he could land on his neck and be paralyzed for the rest of his life. And then I'd be going, well, geez, I shouldn't have let him do that. But then again, you got to encourage your kids to chase their joy whenever possible. And you seem to be doing that in a way that you're comfortable with. And at the end of the day, Izzy and Cody, you're the ones who have to who do it, and you're the ones who will answer for it, and you'll reap the benefits, and you'll take some risks in the process. And I salute you for that. And I want to thank you guys very much for your honesty and for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you. And truly, and you know, you're going to be doing this interview now, and I truly believe one day Izzy will be in whatever organization, WWE, Ring of Honor. I don't know what's going to be in the years when she's, you know, when people aren't tweeting about her age and a choke slam. But it's going to be special, and I'm going to be proud of her if she chooses not to take this road, whatever it is. But really, you know, Sunday I got to see something. Her and her mom, you know, me and her mom saw something special, and you know this, Drew. You know, having a son, when you see them do something that they absolutely love and they're meant to do, it's like, man, there's no greater feeling as a parent. Truly, it was so special, and I wish I could bottle that feeling up because it was so special watching her going. I looked at my wife and I said, she was truly born to do this. This is her. Right. So it was special. So I couldn't be any prouder of it.
And I also remember when I was walking back to the entrance part, I just hugged my dad, and I was like, we did it. because I always dreamed about having that title and hugging him and telling him I did it and we did it.
That's great. That's really that's very, very touching. And even though not a wrestling fan at all, I love the story and I can't wait to chart your progress. And by the way, Izzy, when you write your autobiography, choke slammed at 12 years old because is a great title. You can have that for free. And I wish you a lot of success in whatever it is you want to do in life. You sound like a young lady who's going to accomplish any goal that you set for yourself, and I truly hope you do.
Thank you very much.
Izzy, I want to know next time you and your dad are in Tampa Bay doing a match or whatever, maybe you can come by the studio and slap John Senning around because he's really into that. We had EC3 in the studio once, and John dressed up like Macho Man and got slapped, so maybe you can come in here and do the same thing to him.
Does he want to challenge me for my internet championship?
John, cut a promo on a 12-year-old.
Yeah, cut a promo on her, John, because he just said he wanted to kick a 12-year-old girl's butt right before the show.
I will say I have trained. My training days go all the way back when you were barely even a glimmer in your father's eye. I was training in the gyms of Lapeer, Michigan, little girl. And if you want to step foot in my house at 102.5 The Bone, I will teach you a thing about respect, young lady.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over my championship.
Wow. Got used by a 12-year-old girl. Man, I would tell her to go to her room. No dessert for you tonight, Izzy. Disrespectful. Thank you guys so much. So have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
We love what you do.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
John was laughing at me because I started tearing up when he was talking about his daughter. He's like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, no, I get why.
I saw both of you. I saw both of you get like this emotional moment. I didn't expect that from this.
Me either. Hearing a father speak in such glowing terms about the daughter that he's trying to push into, well, not push, but allow into wrestling.
I mean, it's what she wants to do.
Right. I mean, what are you going to tell her? No? Because it's going to break your neck? Yeah, that's what I would tell her.
I would tell you, as a wrestling fan and just seeing what I've seen and knowing what I know, I was so against her and her dad and everything they stand for. And after that phone call, I am completely flipped, and I think it's great what they're doing, and I support her, and I think it's really cool that her dad's got her back.
I'm not going to go so far as to say it's great, but I will say after hearing them, it is something she wants to do, and any father would at least want to explore that, if not allow her to be chokeslammed by an adult male.
A grown man.
Right. Drew Garabo Live, hello.
Please. Hey, this is Jay. I was actually at the event with Izzy.
Cool. What's up?
It was definitely awkward, for sure. I think
what's awkward about a grown man lifting a 12-year-old girl into the air and then falling to the canvas and crushing her? What's awkward about that?
I don't know. Add on, he was wearing pantyhose, too. So.
That does make it a little bit weirder. So what's your take on it then? Since you were there, you saw it. Like, what do you think?
I mean, there was about 50 people in the crowd. Maybe 20 of them were her family members and friends.
Cool.
So after her match, they pretty much cleared out.
Okay. That doesn't tell me anything. That just tells me you're trying to take little petty shots at them like a prick.
No. I mean, if anything, it was, I think the whole crowd was kind of.
Okay, thank you. 727-579-1025. Drew Garabo Live, hello.
Hi, how you doing, Drew?
Good, man. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, kids are kids, and I think if they're training for it, they should definitely do what they need to do. I mean,
man, you're full of cliche. That's some tremendous insight. So kids are kids, and people should do what they do. Thank you. I wouldn't have realized that had you not called. Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to say that I think she's doing a great thing. I mean,
so okay, let me ask you your honest opinion on something. Do you think that allowing your kid to play tackle football, say at the age of 10 years old, is child abuse?
Absolutely not.
Why not? You're risking concussion. You're risking a broken neck. You're risking paralysis.
Okay. Just if the kid's talented enough to do it and he's putting in the hours and doing it, I mean, what age is right and what age is wrong? Who puts that limit on it? I've been in the same situation.
How so?
So I know what it's like. I'm probably the 8th youngest person in the United States to have ever completed a TAC-certified marathon, 26.2 miles.
Wow. How young were you when you did that?
I was 9 years old.
Oh!
You did a marathon at 9 years old.
I'm not for real.
Wow. Man.
Here in Tampa.
And did your parents ever express like concern about that, or did your parents ever...
No. Absolutely not. But I was on Channel 10 when they were actually the corporate sponsor for it. It was called the British American Marathon.
Right.
And I was the youngest. They had the youngest, the oldest, the heaviest, and the lightest. I was youngest at 9. Once it was aired, they tried to ban me from being able to run in the race. And they weren't able to pass a law or anything like that, and I did and completed it. 5 hours, 15 minutes, and 10 seconds of straight running.
Dude, I don't know, man. If my son said I want to run a marathon, I'd be like, who are you, dude? I'm going to run in that in Bob's thing on Sunday.
Oh, good.
Sunday is Bob's. I know. I'll represent the show. Don't worry.
Oh, you are going?
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a 5K to celebrate his 365th straight day of running 5K or more.
This Sunday.
At West Orange Trail. Yeah, I'm going to go. Like, get there early and run it.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Brunch with your parents? And
No, I'm doing that on Monday. So
good. Are you staying in Orlando?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You really need to.
Yeah, you can't go.
I don't plan well. I'm going to cancel all those things. I'm just going to stay home. Drew Garabo Live, who are you?
I know. I just want to say I think it's really impressive, that girl with the wrestling, but I just don't want people to forget that 20 years ago, Undertaker threw Mankind 20 feet in the air off the Hell in a Cell. Now, that was really impressive.
What's funny about that, John?
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know how they're
Mankind,
connected.
he's totally fine. Mick Foley's fine.
I don't know how they're connected. I just found it funny.
Okay, I thought it was one of those things where you throw in Al Bundy's 6 touchdowns in one game randomly. Like, never forget that Al Bundy scored 6 touchdowns.
But really, when you think about it, so I don't know how often she's going to do this, but I mean, I don't see that big of a difference between a 12-year-old girl doing that and a 12-year-old boy going out there and playing tackle football. I see no difference, actually.
There actually is no difference at all. There's zero difference. And I wouldn't encourage my son to do it, but if he wanted to do it, I would stay open to it, knowing the health risks. Because I like watching football. I would never want my son to play football. Love playing fantasy football for money. Would never in a million years want my son to do that because it's a health risk. Because I don't want him to get the CTE, because I've seen football players that we know who have a touch of the CTE, and it's not pretty. But then again, parents let their kids do it. So if we're going to take it to that level, what's the difference between that and allowing a kid to cave dive in those Eagle's Nest caves? Is there a difference?
I don't.
I would say yes.
What's the
because
difference?
I think then you're looking at. Then you're looking at the percentages. If I go let my kid out on a football field, there's not a very good percentage that they're not going to walk off that field alive. If you let a kid down into that cave, it is a proven fact that you might not come out alive. I would say the percentages.
Percentages, sure, but there's always the chance. And I'll think back to when I was a little kid and I was watching the Patriots play the Raiders. And Darryl Stingley, a wide receiver for the New England Patriots, went up to catch one, and Jack Tatum, maybe it was the Steelers. I don't remember who Jack Tatum played for. It was either the Raiders or the Steelers. Jack Tatum, he had a book called They Called Me Assassin, put a hit on Darryl Stingley. Stingley never walked again. Never walked again. It was like the biggest occasion when he appeared at a Patriots game in a wheelchair and could lift one hand and wave to the people there. And as a kid, I saw that and went, well, I don't ever want to play tackle football, you know?
Well, of all people, my girlfriend just texted me and had a very good point. If you have a 12-year-old and they're playing football against other 12-year-olds, it's not the same as a 12-year-old girl being manhandled by a grown man.
You know, your girlfriend has a wisdom that is far beyond all of ours because we didn't even think
I don't
about
know
that.
why that didn't register with me.
I mean, look at that, dude. You look at any football game and a guy really getting laid out.
So do you believe what the doctor said, that if you have your child under 18 in a contact sport, it's child abuse?
No. I think child abuse, there's no upside to it. Child abuse is reserved for like beating or something like that. I think this is taking a risk, but it's also but you're putting your kid in a situation that your kid wants to be in. Your kid wants to do that. There's a risk in everything. Hell, every time you strap your kid in the car seat and go up to the Publix, you're taking a risk because everybody in Florida's texting and nobody's looking at the road. Drew Garabo Live, hello.
Hello.
Hi, what's up?
Hey, I just want to throw my 2 cents on that kid getting chokeslammed.
Okay.
All right. That guy said, I don't know how many times, seemed like 10, 11 times in a row, he just keeps on saying, well, she's training for this, and she's been training, and she's been training.
Mm-hmm.
There is no training that protects your brain from being rattled around in your skull. You cannot train your brain to take a hit. It just takes a hit.
He does bring up a good point. You can train all day long and get yourself in a good position, but when you lift someone into the air like that guy lifted Izzy and slam her down on the canvas like he slammed her down, sure, he hits first and softens the blow, but what happens if he trips, lets go of her, she lands on her head? A number of things could happen, and you're right. Your coconut, your brain's going to rattle around in there, whether you're 12 or 112. Hopefully nobody's choke slamming 112-year-olds.
That'd be a good one.
Would you ever let your kid, let's say your beautiful little daughter, if you have one, she goes, Daddy, I want to be a wrestler just like Izzy. Would you let her try it?
Absolutely not.
So you tell her, no, you can't pursue your dreams?
I would say, sorry, baby, I know I don't want to see you get hurt, and there's just too much potential for you to get hurt doing this. But when you're an adult, I'll back you up, and I'll help you do whatever you want to do. Maybe when you get older, you'll have a better dream. Just a dream to be a wrestler doesn't seem like it's too good anyway. So,
There must be a pretty good dad if you're pee all over your kids' dreams like that.
One thing about professional wrestling specifically, when you talk about there's no way to, you're never going to practice or be able to prepare for your brain to take that kind of thing. I would say the majority of the work that pro wrestlers do when they're training is learning how to take a bump, learning how to fall in a way that it's not just going to rack your brain every time. So I think the training is important and does make a difference.
Agreed. But I see both sides. Sweet Willie Dimp, the skinny pimp on Twitter, said, I wish one of my 3 kids showed as much interest in anything as that young lady. And I wish I was half the dad of that man. Keep balling, Izzy. Drew Garabo Live, who are you?
Hey, I'm Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie. What's up, dude?
Not much. So I was listening, and I heard that conversation with the parents. And, before the conversation, I was kind of against it. And then after listening to it, I kind of saw their perspective. But I coached Little League football for one season. And after seeing these 12, because they're 12-year-olds, and they were normal, scrawny 12-year-olds.
Right.
And it seemed like every team we played was recruited the biggest. I mean, they have to weigh in, and they were all having to take their shoes off just to make weight. And that's seems to be the luck. But after seeing that, I would never in a million years let my kid do tackle football. I've seen the hits they take.
Yep.
You can't coach them to put their heads the right way. I just would never do it. No way. Jose.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's funny. When my son was 7.5 months old, he had a tumor on one of his kidneys. He had it taken out. And part of the aftercare, the doctor said you can't let him play contact sports because if he takes one hit to his existing kidney, it could do a lot of damage. And I thought to myself at first, oh, well, every dad wants to see his kid play football. And then I thought to myself, well, that's a relief. Like now I don't have to worry about the conversation of, hey, listen, tennis is a fine sport.
Oh, does every dad want his kid to play football?
I mean, if you got a boy, you think to yourself, what would it be like if
Oh, really?
he scored a winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, looked in the camera and said, thanks, Mom. 727-579-1025. Drew Garabo Live, hello. Thank you. Hi, Drew Garabo Live. How can we help you today?
So my question was kind of answered, how the choke slam could hurt her, since these are all kind of rehearsed moves.
Well, they're rehearsed, sure, but anytime you lift a young lady or any young person or any person in the air and you jump from, say, 6 feet down, there's potential to get hurt, no matter how much you might rehearse or train for it.
Oh, absolutely. I just hadn't considered it. The other thing is, what other girls are involved with at that age is like dance and ballet and that sort of stuff, and those have incredibly high rates of injuries, torn ACLs, issues that could follow them around for the whole rest of their lives.
Boy, that's a really good point, and we don't even think twice about letting them go off the balance beam, or if your kid wants to be a diver and you let him do the high dive, you could mess up your back that way. So there's an inherent risk in anything we encourage our kids to do. It's just the visual aspect, the optics of it. That's what gets you when you see an adult male lifting a 12-year-old girl by her neck and then slamming her down. The optics are startling, but again, maybe no worse than some of the things that we allow our 12-year-old girls and boys to do.
My younger niece was involved with cheerleading, was lifted up on the pyramid and then broke her knee in 3 places.
Ugh.
Just a horrible, horrible situation. But you have a fantastic day, Drew. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Continue to take your calls on this, and I'll tell you next about what Kim Kardashian did to her 5-year-old. 727 5-year-old. Let's try that again. 727-579-1025. 5-year-old. Yep. That's what's on my mind.